This case has seen its day, and it is the original Gibson USA case that this particular present came in. But I've never told the story of this guitar in quite as much detail. But every longtime viewer of the channel knows about this guy. And so it's time that we talk about number one. What can I say about the day that I got this guitar? It was Christmas Day, 20 years ago. Do the math. Everything had been done. Like, Christmas morning was done. And then out of nowhere, my brother is staring through, there were doors separating the living room from the formal dining room in my family home. There were doors and there were glass windows, and he's just staring through the glass. And it's like, what are you doing? And he turns to me and he says, "Sean, did you leave a guitar in the dining room overnight? I'm pretty sure there's a guitar in the dining room." I wouldn't have done that. Why? All my stuff is up in my room. I leave it all up there. Why in the world would I leave a guitar in the dining room? We open the door, and sitting on the dining room table is this case. This is really where I feel like this is my Red Ryder Beebee Gun moment. Everything is done, and yet there it is. Say, that's funny. What's that over behind the desk? And I brought it out into the living room, and I opened it up, and there was this guitar. And a real live Gibson Les Paul. And I was just stunned. It looked amazing. It still looks amazing after all these years. And just with this dumbfounded look on my face, I just look at my dad like, what did you do? Like, what is going on here? And my dad said something to me that I'm never gonna forget. After all these years, I still remember it. I had been playing maybe at this point 5 or 6 years. I was really getting into it, and I was starting to get really good. And he just turned to me and he said, "Son, I just felt like it was time that you had yourself a real Gibson." Up until that point, my main electrics had basically been an Epiphone Les Paul Special 2. So all my stuff had been import, lower priced models. And this was the first made in the USA premium thing that I had gotten. And I haven't looked back. This has been the guitar that I've built my career on. And I didn't know many details about it when I got it. It was very mysterious. But I discovered some details over the years that I'm gonna share with you guys about this, as well as talk about some of the things that I've done with it since then. I first got this guitar, there was a lot of mystery about it because it didn't look like anything that was in the standard Gibson catalog at the time. It is a Les Paul Studio. I got that much because it's a solid finish, no binding on it, but everything else about it, the accompaniments of it, the only thing like it at the time was there was a Les Paul Studio baritone, which a lot of people over the years have mistaken this guitar for. However, it is not. And in my discovery process of getting new information on it, I early on discovered that this was referred to as the Les Paul Studio Platinum series. It was a Guitar Center anniversary exclusive for that year. There were 3 colors. There was this black one. There was also a red one and a blue one. However, there's also a platinum version of it floating around in the ether. I'm constantly looking at Reverb and eBay listings for this because I want to acquire more of these. Every pedal demo, it gets used. Every amp demo, it gets used. Writing songs, playing gigs. And every so often, I keep it in half-step down tuning, almost always. And every so often, I need a guitar tuned down half a step to play at church. So I will go ahead and bring this guy along. And I'm always very excited for those occasions to get to use my number one for the number one. Les Pauls are known for headstock breaks. Well, I don't just have one. I don't just have 2. I have 3 headstock breaks on this guitar. Break number 3 is the weirdest. I'm just getting into my private lesson that all GIT students get. We all had a weekly private lesson with an instructor. And I had just opened up the case. So if you can imagine, the guitar case is sitting flat on the floor with the guitar sitting like that. I pick up the guitar, and whether it was because my hands were sweaty or what, I have no idea. The guitar neck slipped out of my hand, and I kid you not, fell about that far into the neck cradle of the case. And it popped to the headstock. And then my teacher, who was heading up the class that I was playing at the end of the day, he graciously offered to let me play his, as far as I understand it, his Tom Anderson modified and tricked out 70s Stratocaster, which was pretty awesome. So a very, very hard thing to go through in terms of just having to deal with that. But hey, I got to play a vintage Strat out of it. The instrument will tell you when it's done, and this is not done. And I hazard a guess that it's gotten better in the 20 years since I've had it. The strings on this are old right now, but it's still just sounds incredible. Just incredible. probably see, there we go. You can see right there. All just wearing away at the finish, which are great. And then I have like a nice little chunk out there from the paint. There's some other wear along the bottom edge here. There's also some finish wearing away where the strap has been rubbing up against it all these years. Those are the kind of things that make you really love a guitar and let people know that you've really been through the ringer with it. I also actually started wearing away some of the paint on the neck heel right here. There's a little bit off right here, and then right at this little, and it even kind of feels like my hand going up there over time has actually started to kind of whittle the wood away ever so slightly, because it doesn't quite poke me as much as it used to. It looks like there's only one pickup swapped, but there's actually both of them. And it's the classic Seymour Duncan combination of a JB in the bridge and a jazz pickup in the neck. I did try to put the pickup cover on the JB. However, the alignment of the pull pieces on Seymour Duncan is different than the alignment of the pull pieces on the original Gibson humbucker, which I believe was one of the 490 T's, I believe. So we decided the neck pickup, the cover could go on, so let's put it on. And I didn't want to do too much to the original pickup cover. I didn't want to have to cut any holes in it. So we just went with the uncovered look. And I kind of think that the uncovered look is really working for me. This has been the guitar that has built my whole career. And it has led to some very, very cool opportunities and very cool meetings. As a matter of fact, this guitar got me in with the crew at Gibson. I took this guitar with me to my first Summer NAMM show and played it while I was demoing some amplifiers for an amp company. And I met my good longtime friend, Aljon Go, who is a very important part of the Epiphone team. And that friendship started because of this guitar. He saw it, he loved it, and we got to talking about it. He actually went out of his way to try to find another one for me, and we've been in touch ever since. And he's been one of the closest friends that I've had in this weird musical instrument world. In a weird way, it's also gotten me every other gig I've ever had in this business, whether that's been doing video work and artist relations with New Neighbor Audio. Working for Carvin happened because I had this guitar with me and went to the LA Amp show. And the opportunities just seem to abound when this guitar is around.